YouTube, Matt here from Crank Engineering, and it's day 17 of the Greg's Garage Welder Challenge. And as you can see from that first shot, the moon's out, so there's no cloud cover at all, so the temperature's dropped quite a bit here in Melbourne, and it's rather cold. So my first opinion or impression was, well, I won't be doing much painting tonight. So surprisingly, I did come out this morning before I left for work and dusted a second coat of paint on all these parts, and they're dry, which I'm a bit surprised about. So I'm going to take them off the racks here, off all the wire, and just take them into the other shed where I can have a better look at the paint coverage and just make sure it's all good, and otherwise I can come back out here and maybe flip it around and just paint a surface that I haven't got completely. So let's go and check out all these parts. So all in all, I have to say these parts that I have painted are pretty good. So that's just primer and paint. There's no filler on any of these parts. So the paint's a bit thin in a couple of spots, so I'm going to repaint these guys here. But generally not too bad. So not bad for a rattle can. Okay, I'm not sure why I decided to do this now, but I'm just going to give this bed a bit of a polish up and clean. There's a few nicks in the bed, in the ways down here, which is probably under the chuck, considering this is the clamp mark for the headstock. So I'm guessing this is under the chuck. Sorry, maybe get it on the camera. So there's just some dents there. So I don't want to sand this. I'm just going to use a stone, a sharpening stone, and just take the sharp tops off those, and that's it. So I'm not going to do any more than that. This stuff was recommended to me by somebody else. I can't remember who. It's made in the USA, Canadian, California custom purple metal polish. This is the good stuff. Not cheap, but it's the good stuff. I'm not sure if that's come up in the camera, but the ways are a bit cleaner than what they were. And again, this is a working lathe and I need it running again, so that's about all I want to do, is just clean it up a little. So that'll be fine for what I want. And let's just carry on. Okay, so yesterday we filled this with some body filler, and this morning when I painted the other parts, I just threw some spray putty on this, and the reason I did that was I sanded this with 120 grit and there's a ton of sanding marks, so I wanted to see how it would go with a couple of coats of spray putty. Now my impression, and please someone correct me if I'm wrong, is that a two-part body filler, polyester body filler, will be a lot more durable against chipping, for example, than spray putty out of a can. So I'm expecting that, you know, this filler is going to be a lot harder than spray putty. So that's why I was aiming to use filler on all these parts on the top of the lathe, where I might be dropping a part or knocking it with a wrench or whatever it might be. So I could be wrong, but that's my impression. So I don't think this spray putty is going to be that durable. So I'm going to go and just sand this a little, just to see if I can take out the sanding marks and a couple of things I've missed on the filler, and then maybe we'll throw another coat of primer surfacer on it and see if it looks okay. Just for comparison's sake, I'm going to take this part and do nothing and just prime it, and just see how it looks after a couple of coats of paint. So again, if it doesn't look great, I can strip it all off. I'm learning as I go just to see how much work it's going to take to get the effect I'm looking for. Now, maybe my expectations are wrong or particularly high based on some of the photos I've seen of the restorations online, but again, I've got to use this lathe, so within 6 months it's going to be scratched and a bit dinted anyway. So let's just sand this and see how it goes, put some primer on it, and just put some primer on that as well. Alright, so here it is sanded, and here's another one that's just been masked up. So let's go shoot some primer on these, probably come back tomorrow and check how they look. Thanks for watching.